My chair's back.
Chair, no chair. Your chair has appeared. Sura has a magic chair, right? It's just like, boom, and there it is. Ta-da!
This week on Helical Brew, it's disappearing chairs and gamer chaos. It's episode 28 coming up. Let's brew.
Welcome, everybody, to another Helical Brew episode. You can see that at the bottom of whatever screen you're watching us on, which is probably YouTube, based on the numbers and the statistics. However, I want to welcome a new account, a TikTok account. Oh my gosh, we've joined a whole nother generation or multiple
We're so
generations.
trendy.
Oh man, gosh, the thing that got so many folks through COVID is now part of the Helical Brew family. Welcome, TikTok. We were able to get the handle. I've yet to have a problem getting our handle on any platform, so no surprise here. It's just TikTok Helical Brew.
You know what, though? When I typed in Helical Brew before, we had an episode up, our favorite partner, Helix Brewing,
Helix
had
Brewing.
a bunch of stuff pop up.
Look at that algorithm. It's going, don't quite have that a call, but we have an X, right? We can do that. AI, intelligent selection going, come over to our brewery. So maybe if you're listening Helix Brewing, which you're probably not, maybe we could be partners, you know? We could just dial it up and say, whoa, these super cool podcasters and super cool beer makers, maybe not. I still need to visit the brewery. In fact, we need to make a point out of that next time in San Diego.
I definitely think we should do Korean barbecue again, but follow it up by Helix Brewing.
And they have multiple locations, right? The Korean barbecue. So we could probably find one down in...
They're all differently owned, though,
La
so you
Mesa?
might not have the same, feel. But yeah, we can find one closer.
Will I smell like Korean barbecue?
Oh, 100%. That's a guaranteed. Didn't you have to, wash that shirt?
Twice. Not just the shirt, everything.
My goodness.
It was like that grease. I mean, it's just an airborne fine grease. I mean, it's like going to any other place. I mean, if I was at a place that had like an open pit barbecue or the smoke from a big outdoor grill was blowing back on you, of course, you're going to smell like it. But this was
That's
just
how you know it was good.
Dense fog. That's true. That's true. And one of the loudest places I've been in a long time, there was just like screaming and yelling on the other side of that restaurant, which I still don't fully understand. It was some birthdays, I guess, but gee, it was intense.
You should have let me tell them it was your birthday.
Our neighbors at our table were like, please don't, please don't. Your chair has appeared.
Had it disappeared before?
It's gone. Look at that. See, Sura has a magic chair, right? It's just like,
annoying.
Boom. And there it is. Ta-da!
Why does it do this to me?
Yeah, but still though, with the Brio 4K camera and the Mac Mini, it's crushing it with the backgrounds. I mean, that ching. I didn't break the bank, but I broke the mold in terms of buying a non-iMac, because I had iMacs for years, and I finally got a Mini, and I was so pumped. Now I don't have to think about monitor technology and computer technology in the same the same sentence anymore. Yeah, so we're now TikToking it, and I've already got opinions about their web interface, but you know what? I'm guessing nobody uses TikTok on the web, and that's they've only got that as sort of a backup. Oh, can't seem to get your phone working. Okay, you can log in on the web, and I tried to change our logo, and it's got some, you can tell, just mediocre code in the background saying I can't do it. You're on a Mac, something's not working. So I ended up logging onto the app just so I could change our picture. You were gone for a second there. We did a reconnect. So
I saw that.
It's back. Come on, San Diego. We got another earthquake going.
Oh my God, that was so crazy. I had 3 dogs barking, and I'm like, who do I save? I grab them all.
So how much feel was there to it? I mean, on the map you looked pretty close, but
yeah, no, there was quite a feel. The whole house shook. It was still milder, but it shook, and then it shook on the aftershocks too.
It's always disconcerting. Yeah, I know these structures
we were
are built
35
for
miles away, right?
Yeah, and that was a what, a 5 or something in that range. That's pretty decent, when I was in California for this last 20 plus year stint as an adult. And it was, yeah. I mean, I do remember one as a kid that was pretty decent back in the 80s, but I was
Do
not
you have
there
a
for the
landline? Is that a landline?
boy, here we go.
Oh,
Oh.
did you just out yourself on whatever platform this is going to get popular on as having a landline?
I do have a landline, yes.
Talking about the Mac Mini and he has a landline.
Darn you, cordless phone. Why? Nobody calls me on the landline except while I'm doing a podcast, of course. Why do I have a landline? I give everybody that number instead of my regular, I don't know. It still has value. The landline still has value to me. I don't know. To me, at least. The thing is, my new place was actually built without any RJ11 jacks. So at least, like, the housing industry has moved on from installing RJ11.
And yet Mike has not.
No. I have a box.
I have one in the kitchen and I'm just staring at it because they cut through the granite just to, like, around it. And I was like, I hate you. I want you gone.
Yes, that's right. You got a big rectangle for a little jack.
And it's like out. So you can, like, I put my coffee, like, espresso maker there, constantly, like, hitting my elbow on it.
Yeah, probably $30 at least in labor was spent on cutting that hole in that fine granite just to make that RJ11 pass through. And let me guess, like, these days they put more than one jack on a patch or a panel.
It's all by itself.
This one's all by itself. Oh yeah, that's terrible. I wonder if there's some provision in California Public Utility Commission law that says you must have an urgent jack.
That's true. It is the only one in the house. Hey, my chair's back. Small miracles. Now I just have to not move. I bet you could do, like, a drinking game based on how much, like, my chair appears and disappears. Like, every time it appears, you drink. Every time it disappears, you drink.
Chair. No chair.
No chair.
So go.
Oh my God, did you see the comment on your Scotch short?
What?
Somebody was like, sure, that glass is fine, but when I want to go crazy, I need a big cup.
Well, thank
Another
you.
level.
Thank you, viewers, participating in Scotch tasting. Yeah, no, that vessel, that teardrop-shaped vessel is designed to concentrate that effervescence of the Scotch, the peatiness, so you get.
But it's wicked small.
It is wicked small. It looks like a shot glass in my hand. Even a baby shot glass at that.
Baby shot glass.
And it's quite delicate. I mean, that's why I keep the box, because it just looks like, it wants to break. And I have no idea where to get another one because it was a gift. Yeah, that video is pretty funny though, right? The guy just, just take a whiff, throw it out, fill it up again. And if some barkeeper comes to you with a bunch of ice, find another bar. This is not your bar.
Did he say barkeeper? I love it.
Barkeeper.
What is up with these barkeeps?
Did that wake up memories from your English
My days.
days?
My days in England.
In England, yes. Oh, the barkeeper, of course. Yeah, the terminology. That was actually an interesting documentary on that. Talking about why British English and American English, explaining the details of some of the areas where they deviated.
I just know, like, when learning the language, like, we learned the Queen's English and it made a lot more sense because I think here we call it aluminum and there they call it aluminium.
Aluminium, yes.
Right,
yes.
but knowing how it's said there makes you know how to spell it, whereas here it doesn't actually clarify that.
Good point. Yeah, it's a bit more Germanic over there, where the pronunciation is exactly as it's written, and there's no implied.
Which I appreciate as an Arab speaker because what you hear is what you write. There's no hidden letters or anything.
Yeah, silent letters and things like that.
There you go, silent letters. There's a YouTube video about, like, what the English language would sound like if the letters that were silent weren't silent.
Weren't silent. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Probably sound a lot more like German, I'm guessing, because the German language, if you're listening carefully, some of those long words, they are getting in every single letter in the pronunciation. So is that true in Arabic? Like what is written? There's a sound for every letter?
Yeah, so Arabic is easy to learn because what you hear is like exactly what you're going to write, and what you see is exactly what you're going to say. So there's no hidden anything.
Interesting.
The only does have the enunciation thing. So if you could enunciate things and have them mean different words, right? Which is what you see in like Mandarin.
Got it. Yeah. So you, because it
And we have
spans.
like hundreds of words just for love. You can call someone,
That's why so
like
many of the
Habibi, Amri, Hayati. All of them are different variations of like your love for someone.
Arabic's just all about the love, isn't it?
All
It's
about the
all
love.
about the love. And there's, the TV that I've watched where, with some songs, music videos in Arabic. I mean, a lot of them are, you don't even have to understand the language. You know, they're about love. They're like, it's,
Mhm.
it's like that. And it spans such a large geography. I mean, I remember, my first encounter with, Arabic was in France, really, and people coming
Oh
from,
yeah, there's a lot of great French songs that are French
yes,
Arabic.
French Arabic, yeah, and that was cool. That's a cool blend,
Yeah.
and the cooking as well. I
Well,
mean,
because the
it's
area had different colonial, like, I don't want to say invasion, but, part of it was like by the British and part of it was by the French. So, of
French,
course, those cultures intermingled.
yeah, yeah, a lot of Algerians in the continent, in Europe and France, especially. Some of the pop culture songs were in Arabic, right? That were out there, between French and of course French songs, French rap songs, even some rap songs in Arabic as well. While I was there, because my time was like in the late '90s, early 2000s, and it was sort of my time slice, so I can remember some of the musicians. Because at that time, I didn't have like an MP3 player hooked into my radio. Still, right? It just doesn't seem like that long ago, but it was long enough ago to where MP3 players didn't really exist for your car, and so I was still listening to the
Yeah.
radio. Still one of those old timers.
Yeah. I remember
Radio.
like my mix was like a cassette tape mix that I
Yes,
made.
that's right. Those dual decks, man. I've been seeing pictures of those. Did you ever have one of those like Iowa?
So my dad was an engineer, so he'd keep like bringing home all these things that we would like, adjust to do different recordings that weren't like what we could get at the store. Even the VCRs, right? You can have one VCR hooked to another VCR and then you can duplicate
Oh
a
yeah,
tape that way.
oh yeah. That's. I remember the FBI warning at the beginning of the.
Like, skip that. I mean, we were in Kuwait, so like, come get me.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah, right, right. Even I mean, it was just to make you feel guilty.
mm, yeah. But that is not an endorsement for copyrighted material. Please respect all of the producers, directors, and actors of the show.
And frankly, the content creators have way more tools at their disposal with, it's very difficult to, pirate by comparison, right? When it was just, oh, you got the tape and I got another tape. Okay, great. Now there's actually some work to it. I mean, of course it can be done, but I'm just amazed. Have you ever bought something on Amazon? I bought
You mean like that's it? Have I ever bought? Because yes.
I know I'm messing with you, but I'm seeing when you're going to answer. Okay. All right. So have you ever bought something on Amazon that when you got it, you're like, this is fake?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I should have.
Which is funny because like now it used to be that you buy on Amazon, you're going to get a good product. But now I feel like you have to check the seller,
Seller, right?
just to make sure that it's legit, which is, I don't feel like was the case when Amazon first started, or maybe I just got extremely lucky when it first started. I don't know.
For me, it's a past like 3-4 years kind of thing. I hadn't had a lot of issues. Well, maybe let's say maybe 6 years actually. Now that I think about it, that's when I bought that. It was a DVD. Believe it or not, there's still some movies that are not licensed for streaming or online. And I was, I don't know what I think it was True. It was True Lies with Schwarzenegger, and True Lies was not on any of the services. And you never know. It's a deal. Like if they don't strike a deal with the producer and the people that own the rights, they can't stream it. That's it. So I bought a copy at a DVD. It was some knocked off. I'm like, why does the audio suck? Why is it not even the resolution and the lighting's weird? It's like somebody put a video camera on a screen and recorded it. And they wanted $25 for it. So I never did that again.
$25 for it.
Oh yeah, it happened to REI too. I bought something from REI. It was a little folding chair, and it looked like you could camp with or pack and just take it somewhere and sit down. And I'm like, this is not. It looks like the manufacturer, but it's not. It's not it. And it turned out that somebody had bought it. It's a knockoff, and they returned it to REI.
Oh,
Yeah, and REI bought into it, like the SKU number. Oh, I don't have the tag anymore, and they took it back, and then they put it back on the shelf, and then I came back. I said, "This is BS." They go, "Oh, you're right. This is not it. You can see in the picture, it's definitely not."
yeah. So you know how I like to do like 100 things at once because I have too much energy and too little to do.
It's up to 100 now. At first, it was 80.
Theoretical 100. So like during one of my daughter's breaks where I was trying to like engage with her and do some stuff and she was just not having it, I went and like got like a job at Target just for fun. Like, so it's like, hey, why not just do this on the weekends because you don't want to hang out
Let's
with me.
do retail.
And that was one of the biggest things. That was my first retail job and probably the last. Like I quit like a week later because I was like, what is this? What am I doing? People would bring in like clothes and put tags from other clothes
Wow.
so then they can like get refunds. And the people at the return, they don't know what all the clothes Target has. So they would give them cash. And it was
Sure.
always like the security guard who would be like, these aren't Target clothes. They would try so many
Wow.
different scams. It was unbelievable. You know, these guys aren't getting paid very much.
No.
It's not their job to figure out
How much
what's
time
there
do you
or
want
not.
to spend on figuring this stuff out? It's like,
Right, but it was like a big thing, and like Target expected them to know, right? I'm trying to make my chair appear again, but it was really funny.
it's like, when's my shift end? Okay, oh, a couple more returns.
Yeah, yeah.
It just goes into this bin. And how many times have you had Amazon deliver something incorrectly, and then you call them up and you say, "Hey, I have this thing," and they're like, "Oh, just throw it away." That's happened to me twice. I'm like, I don't even know what's in the box. I haven't opened it. It's not my box. Like, just throw it away. What do I do with this? So I ended up collecting a couple of them, putting them in my garage. And then when I had a real return to take back to Kohl's, I said, by the way, you can have this other stuff too, you know?
So I guess at the return distribution center for Amazon, if you do that, like they'll just throw it away too because they can't match it.
Yeah, I guess.
I've never had that situation, but I had the situation where like I got something like a can opener and it broke. And I called them and I was like, I just got this and it broke when I used it. And they're like, yeah, just throw it away. I'm like,
Throw it away.
okay, you don't want like evidence? They're like, no, we'll just refund you. I thought it was only because it was like inexpensive.
Isn't that weird? I don't know. I mean, they just logistics and keeping people like the drivers, they turn over like that. I mean, I've seen.
That's a whole other company. It's like a logistical company Amazon works with. So they don't care.
Okay. So they like all these people driving around in the trucks are not direct employees?
No, there's this logistical company that Amazon
Wow.
works with that hires them.
Okay.
And so like it's totally like up to them to decide how to keep or let go of those guys.
Outsourcing 101.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they've got robots on the factory floor. They can outsource people.
Well, I mean, it's, you know,
I'm so sad about this chair.
I I think it's true with so many of the distribution businesses. Like if you're going to distribute stuff and, you know, the amount of time that's involved to try to get things back or reroute or whatever. I mean, I have had a couple of times where a driver came back and actually moved a package from one person's porch to my porch or something like that. And all things being told, I have to say the service is pretty remarkable in terms of like, if you go, the amount of stuff that's being shipped, the amount of stuff that's being delivered, you know, you can be critical, but I'm being critical in the sense of FedEx and UPS, for which I do not get that many packages, you know, just sort of online ordering through other companies. I mean, I get, you know, more than I did 15 years ago, but with Amazon, it's a significantly higher percentage. So there's a higher rate for errors, I would expect.
But it's better than Uber Eats that delivers my food to my neighbors constantly.
Oh my gosh, that is challenging.
I'm like, you took a picture. I could see in the picture it's not my porch.
And it's, again, you never know. Like when you're an Uber driver, there's a verification. I'm sure there's verification for the Amazon, or not the Amazon, the Uber Eats folks, but it's food, and
You ever tried to grab the package from the Amazon guy when he delivered it? It's because I was outside and I was like, oh, here, let me take it. And he's like, no, I have to put it down because I need a picture. To like watch him walk to my porch, put it down, take a picture. And then I went from the garage to the porch to take it back.
couldn't put it in front of the garage. Just put it right here. It's not recognizable.
I definitely didn't want to be in the picture. I don't know. So I was like, oh, you do you. I'll be here.
It's probably got some algorithm that blurs faces automatically anyway.
You're still in their system, though.
Yeah, that's true. You're in the system. Hey, imagine, have you ever been outside on your front porch when the Google Maps truck comes by? Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've twice. Once on my brother's street and then once on where I was working. Like,
did you look on Google Maps and you were
blurred? Oh yeah, I was blurred out. Yeah.
You have to give me that address so I can look you up.
But you won't be able to recognize because it automatically blurred the faces out. In fact, it tries to blur all of you out and just have a nice, clean sidewalk so it looks perfect. They try to drive when there's as few cars on the road as possible, but it's still daylight. And I have to say, Street View to me is not that useful. I've never found it particularly useful.
I liked it when I was shopping for a house because then you can actually see the neighborhood.
Yeah, come on, Google. You're not making a cut off of people shopping for houses. Figure out a way to make money with that.
I know, right? Or if you're going to a new place and you want to figure out parking, you can look around and see,
Yeah, no, that's an app we need. I think you could just have the best parking scenario button, like real time. Just one tap. I am in the middle of Cambridge, Massachusetts. I'm on Mass Avenue. Help me pack the cat. Come on, help me pack a cat, right? The app is called Pack a Cat.
Can you imagine if it was actually called that? People are like, what is this app?
It's Pack the Cat. Now available outside of Massachusetts. You can pack the cat anyway. Pack the cat.
Oh, man. I want to go back to Boston. They had the best espresso martinis.
Boston is Boston. It's the capital of biotech and fancy universities.
Where's Elizabeth today?
Moving. The great move. From one side of town to the other side of town. It's just proof positive that a move is a move. It doesn't really matter. You can move in the same city, or you can move across the country.
Honestly, I'd rather sell off everything I own than move. That's how much I hate it. And I move a lot. Yeah,
you've moved more than I have. I mean, I was in California. I was in the same spot for like 20 something years. But I moved a lot before that. I think it was all the moves before that where I'm like, yeah, I'm going to stick with this for a while.
It definitely teaches you to be a different person, though, because now, I'm such a minimalist. I get rid of things right away because I know I'm not going to want to pack all this again.
Right. So you're anticipating another move.
Yeah, no, I can't stay in one place too long. It drives me crazy.
You're going to be like, there you go. Reno awaits.
If I can get my mom to move to Reno,
whatever
I'm down.
It's more like the California exodus awaits, when you're ready to leave California.
I was looking that up, how many people actually are leaving San Diego, and they said quite a number of people.
Yeah,
the problem is San Diego doesn't care. You move out, other people will move in.
It's not you don't do it for that reason. I mean, you just do it for if you want more space or peace and quiet or whatever, or just a change of pace. I mean, I love San Diego. In fact, San Diego for me probably would have been, and this speaks to what Mitch told me a while back. He's like, just move down here, but it is a busy place. But the pace of San Diego compared to the Bay Area and sort of getting from point A to point B is way easier than LA or the Bay Area, the two other.
So you're saying it's more
metros.
laid back.
It's just more laid back. It's easier to get around. I mean,
got it. Yeah.
I rarely find myself in a car in San Diego, even at rush hour, frustrated. Whereas in the Bay Area, you could get really frustrated when it takes you an hour to get from, let's say, Mountain View to maybe just north of Fremont. I mean, that's a lot.
It's because you're not supposed to be using the car. You're supposed to be using the Caltrain.
Well, and good luck with that, right? So the Bay Area does a very good job. And that's where the Bay Area is so polarized. You live there, right?
Mm-hmm. I liked it much better. It was way more of my pace than San Diego.
Really?
Yeah,
right, well.
San Diego's too slow.
Yeah, I guess if you have 100 things going on at the same time, that might be a better fit. I don't know. You were destined to be like a startup CEO, Sura. I think that's like.
I know, it's not funny.
But you go down north to south in the Bay Area. Everything's north to south, but most people commute east to west. So there's not a single fixed rail public transport system that goes across the bay, other than the BART between Oakland and San Francisco. 1 point. That's it. But I mean, there's like all this flow from Fremont to Palo Alto, San Jose to Hayward, whatever. You know, it's terrible. It's terribly laid out. It's poorly planned.
But you don't need a car. Like, I can get from Oakland Airport to San Francisco to the job site without ever stepping foot in a car. So I think that's something that you can't do in San Diego,
That's
right?
true. You'll never do that.
The thing that we mostly like can use back when I was, I think, in high school, I took like the trolley, and it was, you can just like gouge your eyes out with how crazy slow it was, you know? We don't have decent public transportation in San Diego. And I think that was by design. If I heard correctly, there was a lot of the car
LA as well
manufacturers at the time that fought it, right?
Yeah. The whole Southern California light rail system in LA is also equally crappy. If not, well, for the population, it's more crappy actually than San Diego, because it basically goes like East LA all the way to Santa Monica and Pasadena, right? Okay.
Okay.
What are you going to do from Orange County to LA or vice versa? Not much.
But hey, I heard that housing in LA is now, like, lifestyle wise, it's cheaper in LA than San Diego now. Like, it's crazy. When I was doing this research, it said like the first one, maybe Boston, then San Diego, then New York City, then San Diego as the most expensive places.
Wow. Well, I could see that with San Diego because it's on a per capita basis, population wise. Yeah, the amount you're going to be paying out for house. I mean, you can't house as many people in San Diego per land area as you can in LA, but
That's true. I also think that, like, in COVID, a lot of the people I knew from the Bay Area moved to San Diego because they could work remotely,
yeah.
and that drove things up.
I would say San Diego, of all the California cities, is probably the latest of the density transition, meaning, and I say that because, you know, it was sort of like, you know, single family home. That was pretty common in San Diego. That was kind of a typical, you know, buying new single family homes, whereas other cities were building townhouses and higher density, purchasable. So just not necessarily for rent, but purchasable, higher density. Also, the mass transit systems drove that too, right? The fact that you can build in the Bay Area a big tower next to a BART station, it's a lot more efficient than trying to do the single family home system. But since San Diego doesn't have, like you said, any viable transit system whatsoever, you just, you know, build single family homes. I'm amazed at how many neighborhoods there are that are viable commutes in San Diego, like, you know, down south, up north, you know, just sort of
But I mean,
patched together.
even where I live, like, my siblings won't come visit me because they're like, from the freeway, it takes us 20 minutes to get to your house, like from the freeway exit. So most of my commute is
The
just getting
15?
through Poway to the 15.
Oh, yeah. That reminds me of where I grew up. Yeah. Big suburb kind of thing. And what's that road? Is it what, 35, 40 miles an hour to go?
I think so.
Yeah.
But, you know, for me, like, we don't care. We can, like, ride horses and hang out together. Like, you guys
Right.
can come over whenever you want, but I don't need to be next to the exit.
Well, you get the benefit of working from home too. It's not like you have a commute, you know, and I don't know.
We have 2 anchor days, right? So I do have to commute downtown those 2 days.
How long does that take total to get down?
You know, what's funny is that my daughter's school starts early, so I seem to hit that pocket of the early goers to work, so it always takes me at least an hour. But if I wait, like if I come back home and feed the dogs and then leave, then it's only 45 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, an hour, that's definitely getting up there.
Yeah, it's okay. I've got podcasts to watch. Like
No,
this
that's
one.
true. It's true. If you need entertainment in your vehicle, just check out Helical Brew. That's at Helical Brew on YouTube.
Now with captions for your enjoyment.
It's awesome. So it's fresh. It's fresh, and now we're on TikTok.
TikTok.
Yeah.
I feel like you're trying to hype yourself up about TikTok.
Come on.
Let's get excited.
TikTok. No, it's cool. And I did see the thing where you click on our logo and it starts jamming out.
Isn't that fun?
That's cool.
Did you hear about Potato AI getting funding?
No, I didn't.
Ooh, they got $4.5 million in funding.
Okay. Did they announce that? Oh, here it is.
You see it, right?
Yep, R&D World has got it. Crunchbase. They're being carried by all the major startup news feeds.
Yeah, $4.5 million in seed funding by Draper Associates, Dolby Family Ventures, all for Potato AI. That's like amazing what Nick Edwards has been able to achieve with their team.
Yeah, that is really, really cool. Well, we have had a guest on our show who's part of this whole deal, Nick Edwards. For those of you who haven't seen that episode, check it out. It's a previous episode. Let me get the episode number.
I don't have it open now.
I'm pulling it up right now. Yeah, so we have Funded Company.
Episode 23 with Nick Edwards and Potato AI.
There it is, episode 23. I just love how our iTunes, not iTunes. I want to say iTunes because all this stuff used to be in iTunes. They had a podcast just category, and now podcasts actually have their own app. So that's my old school terminologies. Everything's in the podcast app. But I just like how when you scroll down all of our episodes, it's just like one rainbow of different.
Yeah, you did a good job with that.
It's like every episode
Welcome
is
to
a
the
different
rainbow.
color. Because I've seen different things. The first podcast I was interviewed on, they did sort of almost a black and white like image of the guest. Like they take your picture and they put it through some processor that made it look a certain way. And I thought that was cool too. I mean, that's something. But then that means you got to get, because I remember they came out to me. It's like, hey, do you have a picture that you want to use for the episode title? And it's like, yeah, here, use this one. But it's just one more step. I mean, we could do that as well when we have guests on. So pumped with the sort of the format change that really Sura has driven. It's like now I can bring in the voiceover mic or the podcast mic. Here, watch this. Now it's on. Now it sounds like the room, right? But when you get up close to it, it's like in a world filled with podcasts. Who sticks out more than any other one? It's Helical Brew.
That voiceover mic, though, I gotta tell the audience, Mike has different timbres in his voice depending on the time of day. Because I'll ask for a voiceover at noon, and he'll sound much different than a voiceover at 7 a.m. I'll have to be like, this is very robust sound. I need you to tone it down.
It's like, keep in mind what time you're asking for the voiceover, because you will get different results at different times.
That timbre was just powerful.
Right, but you see what I'm saying, though? This thing's got its own punch to it. It definitely punches through you can, I mean, it's a little more room. So one thing I need to do is treat the room. The room has not been treated at all. But you can try to turn down the gain, but it's like having some padding up against the wall.
Oh, is that what it means? Okay.
Yeah. Just, we don't use this for podcasting because it just looks like the guy from Home Improvement, Who is that guy?
Do you remember David?
You'll never know.
Who had the Post-it note? That was hilarious.
Yes. Yeah, the Post-it note was pretty funny. He's like, I'm just going to put this Post-it note on here. That way.
So I remember the way I'm looking.
And he sent the picture. It was funny.
That's important, though, because I find that and I think a lot of people do this, you're usually staring at yourself, not the other person. And I can tell because in meetings one-on-one with people, the camera's here, right? And even if they were staring directly at me, they'd still be kind of looking there. But they're like this way. So they're looking at their minimized picture in the corner.
Yeah, what I do sometimes is I'll take this window, the Riverside window, and put it on the other screen. And then that way you got the feedback necessary, but you can, although looking into the camera is not exactly necessary, right? You're not looking at the camera right now.
Me?
No.
No, I'm looking at myself. This is looking at the camera.
Exactly. What's this little
It's
thing up
hard.
here? I know.
Maybe if I put like a picture of our crew up there, I'll look at that correctly.
It's like, okay, yeah. But
So I was editing our video game one that we never published, that episode. And then it got me inspired to again bring up we should totally do a video
oh my
game
God, we would have so
episode.
much fun.
I really want to do like the President's Discord where they're playing Modern Warfare.
Dude, it right now they just came out with this thing called the Verdansk Warzone casual version. So it's because the Verdansk, the Modern Warfare, or not Modern Warfare, Warzone can be so intimidating. It is for you. I mean, I'm a player, but that's part of the game. I mean, there's some really good hardcore folks out there. That's where all the professional gamers that do Modern Warfare, that's what they play, is Warzone. And so, you're like, this is frustrating. I'm getting iced in like 5 minutes, and the whole game lasts for 30. So you're like out the remaining 25 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
And they came up with a casual version, which is they throw in more bots in the system. So it's maybe, I don't know, I'm guessing 40 real players and 80 bots. But that still, it gets challenging at the very end, but you're going to get to the end. So that's, or close to the end, which is good.
Maybe I'll buy it for the PS4 since it seems my activation energy to spend that much on the 5 is low.
It doesn't matter. You can do it on the 4. They all support streaming, recording.
Yeah, at least then I can get closer to like actually playing with you than saying I'll buy the 5 and never buying it.
Just make sure you get the dual platform version. That way, when you get your PS5, which I think if you like your PlayStation, you're inevitably going to get one. You'll have it, and then you can just down, because I don't buy games on physical media anymore. I don't know about you. When was the last time
I don't either. Yeah.
What's your favorite game right now? Speaking of which, speaking of games.
Yeah, so I haven't been playing very many games because I'm doing all this other stuff. And my daughter kind of monopolizes the living room. So I used to have 2 rooms with 2 big screens and 2 PlayStations. That way, if she's got like one on lockdown, I'm on the other one. But when we moved, I never set up the other TV.
Mm-hmm.
So then I switched to just mobile gaming. And now I'm doing too many things to even game.
Yeah, I remember when we were talking about it, you're like telling me about your hardcore gaming, like character, like you have characters like built up to the maximum. And
yeah, I sold a couple.
Sold a character. I don't know those people. I sold my character.
Yeah, I mean, it was back in the day when you were playing World of Warcraft, right? You built up a character and you could totally sell them. So back in the day, I sold a couple. And then in this day and age, during COVID, I built up a character really good. So I just sold that one like a couple years ago.
Okay. Oh, World of Warcraft. That was I think that's where my brother and I played the most, like online gaming simultaneously, because you could just join a group. And
yeah, my brother really liked it.
Yeah, that was fun. And that's what Modern Warfare has become now. It's like my cousin, his kind of in-law, family friend, my brother, we'll just play, and we have a blast. It's just been like Mortal Kombat, MK1, because they reset the timeline. So it started over. There's not going to be, like, they were at 12 and they're like, no, we're not going to do it 12.
I want to do the racing game now that Elizabeth and you were talking about it. I want to get that.
The Formula One, the one with Hamilton's coming out shortly. That one's in the launch pool. That's an EA game.
I'll get that one. That one looks like EA games are usually pretty good.
Yeah, they put a lot of production value into it, and they've got global appeal. Like that F1 game, it's probably going to sell more copies, I would say, in other parts of the world than it will the U.S. I mean, that's just the way F1 is. It's got a huge fan base globally.
Yeah. So I was looking it up because I wanted to make sure I got it right. But EA also does one of my favorite games, Dragon Age, and they came out with one called Veilguard that I haven't seen yet.
Okay.
I played all their previous ones, but they changed like gameplay between the first and the second, and I hated it. It was less like first person and more like you make an action and then like the cinematic thing happens during the fight. So it was like, why am I watching myself fight? Like, I want to actually fight.
Just want to fight, man. What's up?
Yeah. Ooh, this one looks good though. Scary. I like the scary one.
Well, I feel like we're finally at a time where the size of the games and the load times and the storage are in a happy place again, because I felt like with the PS4, that was my main drive to get off the PS4 was you get games like this and they're like, nope, it's an 80 gigabyte download. I'm like, 80 gigabytes? Well, first of all, it's a hard drive. On top of the hard drive, like basic cable internet. Even, so I feel like we're back to a happy place, because The PlayStation 5 initially, when it came out, did not have a lot of storage on it because it's all solid state. And now
Yeah.
they've upgraded it.
I was reminded of the fact that like part of our struggle with the PS4 is just waiting for things to download. Like my
Yeah.
daughter likes The Sims and she literally has to turn it on, get out of the living room, go do other things, and come back half an hour later.
Yeah. And that's The Sims. I mean, how complicated a game is that? Like, why does that have to be so big?
The world rendering, yeah, is a
Yeah.
big.
Sims, that's a following that goes way back. I mean, that's like,
Yeah.
well, it's kind of like there's also Civilization. Did you see they launched another Civilization? That's a game that just keeps on carrying on. Still as popular as ever. It's got a huge fan base.
But I like the PlayStation because you can plug your headset right into like the controller.
Very convenient. They did that well. I give them credit. And they've been doing that for a long time. Like it wasn't like just the most recent generation. They've had that platform in place where you could do comms. Whereas trying to set that up on a PC is, you still have to like buy specific equipment for it or do like the streamers. This is where I got like, I'm like, after watching some streamers, I'm like, oh, if we're doing a podcast, I'm getting a real like podcast microphone. You know, so I can be like one of the streamers. I would never make it in that. They'd be like, oh, no. Yeah, I play like shit, but I'll stream it anyway.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. An episode where we're all playing and streaming is going to be totally fun.
Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah. Any game.
And we can do crazy things. Like we can have like crazy hair or crazy outfits.
Dress up like.
Because we're all so pro all the time.
F1 driver, you know. Yeah, we are. We're just so pro. Go pro or go home.
God, Elizabeth is happy. She's not in another gaming conversation.
Well, she's running a business, so sometimes you just don't have time for games.
And moving a house.
And moving. That's, yeah. It always takes more time. I'm impressed you've moved so much because for me, like the anxiety level of moving. Yeah, you've moved way more than I have. And I'm like, because I kind of wanted to move like 7 years ago in a way, like, but it took me, there was just, you know, convenient time and figuring all that stuff out. And I just sort of delay. And next thing I know, it's 7 years later. But the thought first came to mind 7 years ago. And it took me a long time to do it, but you just did it. I think this time I would be able to do it quicker because now I've kind of reset, like, you know, throwing stuff out and clearing the deck.
Yeah. It's also like you have one life to live, you know?
Yeah,
you can either be tethered to this place by your things, or you can chase after your passions. And if you're done with San Francisco, come to San Diego. If you're done with San Diego, go to Nashville. Like there's places we can be, right?
Nashville. That's another place. That's right. It's cool. It's growing.
No, but it's got like weather.
Well, that whole southeast thing, I don't like the freezing rain stuff. That's the part I like least about because they don't get real snow. They'll get precipitation.
She got snow.
And it'll freeze. Yeah.
It was pretty good. But like when I went there, their idea of like a great time was going to the lake. And I hate insects so much and that humidity, you know, it created this like swamp like atmosphere that made me miss the beach, even though I don't go to the beach very often here, very much.
Well, I get it. I grew up in Houston. I do not miss the skeeters, you know, and the gigantic apparatus we had on our patio that would basically electrify mosquitoes or any bug for that matter. And that thing would be going off all the time in the summer. And the fact that it would never, like, it took forever to cool down, if at all. Like, you go look at a Houston.
But you got to admit the no state tax is pretty nice. I'm getting like ripped a new one by the federal government and then ripped again by California. And then I look around and I'm like, where's my tax dollars going? Like this road is.
You can live in a great no tax state, Sura. It's just not going to be Texas or Tennessee. It's right here. Actually, I think Tennessee has a state
Nashville
tax.
has no state tax.
They don't have a state tax in Tennessee. Okay, so humidity over here, less than 50%, you know, low, right? Over there, 90%. Okay, very still no state taxes.
Oh my God, the Daily Show was showing this girl who got like an email from the government about like self-deporting, like it's time for you to get the F out of our country. Did you see that? And she's an immigration lawyer.
Jeez.
I was like, whoa, you gotta watch your email. I'm gonna have
right.
anxiety.
Oh my. Yeah. Was that spam? What was
Is this really like what is the signature? I think the Daily Show should sponsor us because we watch them.
Agree. I mean, anyone we watch should eligible to be a sponsor. The challenge is, do they agree? Do they agree? Come on, Jon Stewart, please.
I like Ronnie Chang. He's funny.
So much potential out there. Who knows? Maybe the TikTok.
TikTok.
TikTok. I just had that line in Avengers where he says, "To Tic Tac, it'll never happen again." It was where what's his name? There was a line in one of the Avengers movies where the guy referred to him as Tic Tac. Ant-Man.
No,
He was referring to Ant-Man.
I remember that. I just couldn't remember the context.
It's because Ant-Man broke into Avengers headquarters, and what's his name? Why can I not remember the character that took over for Captain America?
The Falcon? No.
The Falcon. Yeah.
Was it the Falcon?
So the Falcon's talking to Ant-Man and says, "Hey, Tic Tac, it's never going to happen again," because Ant-Man's apologizing for breaking into Avengers headquarters. He's like, I just had to do it. It's like,
man, that was such a good role. I love that guy. Never ages.
Oh my gosh. Oh, unbelievable.
Like Paul Rudd, how are you still looking like that?
Yeah, he definitely. Paul Rudd, age 56 years old. Wow. Yeah. And what year was Clueless filmed?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Tell me.
1995.
Whoa.
Paul Rudd was 25 years old. Yeah, he was born. Paul Rudd's same age as my brother. Almost exactly. But yeah, 1969. The moon. Landed on the moon. Well, we are a good solid hour into intermission. Gaming episodes still in the works. Call of Duty, Black Ops 6, and give it a shot. And then the F1 game, I have to see if that one even works on the PlayStation 4. Some of these games, it's amazing how long they will carry the torch. Because there are so many PlayStations out there, it's worth producing them for even an older platform because they'll still be able to sell it and, get people that maybe wouldn't, if they don't have the PlayStation 5, and still buy it. Because I think that's something these consoles are, I'm amazed they can pull it off. Like, how do you produce a game for one platform that's 10 years separation from another platform, and they can still make it work? Whereas in the PC industry, that's gone. That doesn't work. You got a 4 or 5 year window of things where it works on, and that's it. Yeah.
You know what we should do for the gaming episode if we end up doing one is promoting it ahead of time so our listeners can play live with us. That would be fun.
Ooh.
And we can make it like a live episode.
What's that term they use in Modern Warfare where you get the streamers? They call it stream sniping. Hey, watch the stream and I'll go find this match. All right, here we go. I know exactly where they are.
But that would be fun. One of us can share screen while we're playing.
That would be cool. Okay, well, the F1, sorry, PS5 only.
I'm just going to go this weekend and buy it.
It could just sit next to you. It'll be in its happy place. It'll sit next to your Mac Mini. Be like, oh, hello, friend. Hello, friend over there. I hear they don't have any games for you, little Mac Mini. Yeah, good one, buddy. Yeah. They can have a little conversation with each other. On your desktop, you're like, well,
with Mike Ouren narrating.
That's what I'm for. I'm the gaming box. I'm a PS5.
I love it.
But you're also incredibly useless.
That's a way to get Sura to buy it is to not have the game available.
And I'm also PS4 shaming you a little bit. So.
No.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. That game's not compatible with the PS. I know you have so many. We can add. This will be 101 things to do. Sura is she's like super bandwidth. She is like, yeah.
I just get bored easily. I need to have lots of things to do.
I get it. Well, thank you everyone for joining us for this episode of Helical Brew Intermission. Always glad to have you with us. And remember, youtube.com @Helical Brew and TikTok. I don't think they use that sign. So just Helical Brew on TikTok. We'll see you soon. Till next time, ciao.
Thank you for joining us on the Helical Brew. We're glad to have you with us. For more episodes, please visit our website at helicalbrew.com. That's helicalbrew.com.